Today we're going to look at the hi-hat. It's one of the highest pitched sounds in a drum kit. Stay tuned for more. Okay, so we're back in our old Soundtrap project that we've been working on. And let's create a new track. And it's going to be drums and beats. And I'll just use the default vanilla drum kit. But I'm going to switch this and change it to be called hi-hat. And I will make it the dark pink color that we've been so accustomed to. And let's create a region right here. And then we're going to go over the rules for how to make hi-hat patterns. Here are the rules. There are none. I know. So this is actually really easy to do. So let's find the hi-hat part, and we can even just do something like this. We can just spam it. Let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, so a very common pattern. We can also do every other one, so leave a blank. And this will make it feel slower because they're happening less often. We can add some notes to create a pattern. So we have 1 and then 1, 2, then 1, gap 1, or you can look at this as 1, gap, then 3, then 1, then 1, then gap 3, then 1, etc. Okay, and you can make it random. Right, so I'll just kind of click some on here and there and everywhere. All right, they all sound very good. Now, where the real power comes is when we use the piano roll. So I'm going to click all of these on. And let's go to the piano roll. And we're going to zoom in a little bit so that we can see it nicely. And I only want to see that one bar, so I'll zoom way in on bar 11. Okay, so first off, your grid is probably set to automatic grid size, which means that you're going to have a whole bunch of these little boxes there. Okay, so 1/16 is the default, or what we should usually have the grid set to. And you can see that each one of these notes fits into one of the slots nicely. But one of the things that we want to do sometimes with the hi-hat is make faster notes. So these are 16 notes. A faster note value would be called a 1/32. So I'm going to switch the grid to 30 seconds. And then I'm going to switch these notes, and you can see now we have some extra boxes. And I'll draw a note right here. And I'll actually switch this one as well. And so listen to how these notes sound. They're going to sound like they're going a little bit faster. Double the speed, actually. So you've probably heard that. Okay, let me just solo the drum kit so that you can hear that one more time. Okay, so you get the hang of that. Now, a couple other things that we can do. We can add some gaps just to kind of add some interest. Add slower notes, have faster notes. So I'm gonna make this one longer. Not that it makes the sound any longer, it just makes them happen less frequently. Okay, it actually doesn't matter how long your notes are because the sound is so fast that the length of the note has no bearing on it. Okay, so let's listen to what this sounds like now. Okay, and maybe at the end I'll get them both to go faster. Okay, so be creative in your hi-hat pattern design. Now, what if we want even faster notes than this? Well, then we have to go up to the grid settings and set it back to automatic grid size. And you can see now, when we've zoomed in so much, it actually has one extra zoom level that we can kind of break these boxes into. So for example, I can now make these even shorter. So I'm gonna make these 4 really fast. Let's hear what this sounds like. Okay, I'll fill in some of these gaps. Okay, so the key thing is just, once again, just to be creative. have some slower paced notes, have some faster paced notes. And there's a couple other things that we might want to look at. So for example, if we go to the grid settings again, there are these last two settings, 1/8 triplet and 1/16 triplet. So let's start with 1/16 triplet. Now when I click on this, what you're going to notice, here's beat 2. You're going to notice that every single beat, so beat 1 starts here, beat 2 is here, every beat is divided into 6 pieces. Okay, let's compare this to a 16th note. So when I set the grid to 1/16, every beat is divided into 4 pieces. If we have it at 1/8, every beat is divided into 2 pieces. If we have it a quarter, well, it's just one piece for the entire beat. So there's only one slot. So for example, if I try to draw a note, you can see it fills up this entire space. Okay, 1/32, every beat is drawn. There's 8 spots per beat, or 32 spots per bar, because we have 4 beats per bar. But with 16 triplets, like I said, it divides it into 6 pieces, or there's 24 spots per bar. Okay. So why is this useful? Well, it kind of gives us a weird, kind of off-balance feel that is actually really interesting. So when we do this, however, okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that you keep these in groups of 3s. So for example, okay, so I just have to shorten it. There we go. Let's put the playhead back. So there's my 16th note triplet, and we want to keep it in groups of 3s. So here's where beat 4 is. I'm going to put 3 of them together. And so listen to what this sounds like. Okay, and I'll just put these back as normal 16th notes. So I'll go back to the 16th note grid. You can hear the difference between the two. Right here. Okay, so you may or may not notice that, but it has a really pleasing sound. Now, that's not to say that you should do it everywhere, although you could if you really wanted to. So for example, you could have just an entire beat. Let's go back to 16 note triplets that are all 16 note triplets. And let's shorten this. Now this might take some time, so I'm going to use my copy and paste. There we go. Okay, so you might like how that sounds, and that's perfectly fine. Once again, with the hi-hat, there are almost no rules. The only thing that I would say is with triplets, make sure that you keep them in groups of 3s, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so 8th note triplets, same thing. So you can see here's beat 2. An 8th note triplet divides our beat into 3 pieces. So 16 notes, 16 triplets divide our beat into 6 pieces. 8th note triplets divide it into 3 pieces. So that means the entire bar will fit 12 of those. Okay, let's do an entire bar of this. And I want to zoom out. So I will copy this over. Here we go. Now this might feel really off to you. So that's why I would say maybe this is not, you know, what I would particularly do. If you like how it feels, then go for it, I guess. Okay, one quick thing. I pre-created this more complex hi-hat pattern, and I'll just drag it over just to show you, because there is a little bit of a problem, and it's this. So we have all these notes, and there's lots of different things. I'll play what it sounds like. So here's what it sounds like. Okay, so pretty good pattern. And I want to show you one thing to be cautious about. If you go and click back on the beatmaker grid, which is under the patterns tab, it's going to say that this region contains unquantized notes. Now, if you go and say, well, you know, there's only one option to fix it, I better press this quantize button. Well, let's see what happens. Okay, so when I scroll down, it tells me that this bar also has unquantized notes. And so I quantize them. Well, listen to our pattern now. All those fast notes and all the work that I put into this pattern, they're all gone. And I'll show you in the piano roll. What quantizing does is it essentially takes notes and it shifts them to the nearest line. Now, it's not just any line. Because the beatmaker grid uses 16th notes, basically it sets the piano roll to the 16th note value. And every single note, so you can see right here, there's a note hidden, maybe not there, but right here. So there's a whole bunch of notes that got moved to this line. This one used to be in the middle right here, but because it's been quantized, it's been forced to be at this line. So now all those fast notes, we can see a bunch down here as well. I have to find them. Yep, there's a couple there. Okay, so you can see there's a whole bunch of notes stacked on top of each other. So all those faster notes, they're no longer playing. So if you're going to go and make a more complicated pattern, do not go back to the beatmaker grid and do not press quantize, because it will mess up everything that you worked so hard to build. All right, so that kind of wraps up all the things that we need to know about hi-hats and make some interesting patterns. Good luck.